identify which ratios are not correct. Well, we know ratios need to not be decimals, and I see a decimal right there. So this one, that's not a ratio. And then I see a fraction right here, so that one is also not a ratio. This ratio here, 8 to 1, they're both whole numbers, so that is a ratio. And then we have 10 to 12, which is also a ratio. So given ratio a to b, you reduce the ratio like you would a fraction. So we know how to reduce fractions, right? You divide both numbers by the same number. Same thing happens with a ratio. So we're going to find the largest number that divides evenly into both the values a and b. Okay, so remember, for example, pulling back an old paper, when we were simplifying 15 and 100, you divided the top and the bottom by 5. We divided the top and the bottom by the same number. So same thing happens with ratios. You're dividing by the same number. So looking at this ratio, is there a number that can divide 3 and 12? Yeah, 3 divides 3 and 12. So we can divide by 3, and I get 1 to 4. Go ahead and see if you can find what can divide into 10 and 15. The number that can divide into 10 and 15 would be 5. And then, let's see, we're left with 2 and 3. Now pause. Can anything go into 2 and 3? No, that's it. So our ratio is simple. All right, so moving along. We're going to convert a ratio to a fraction. So how do we do that? You're going to take the first value, a, and then as the numerator, and the second value, b, as the denominator, so that the ratio a to b looks like a over b. All right, so, well, following that example, the first number is going to be my numerator, so that's going to be 4. And the second number is going to be b, which is the denominator, 4/5. Okay, go ahead and try b by yourself. All right, that's going to be, the first number is my numerator, and the second number is my denominator, which is 125. And c. So the first number will be my numerator, 7, and the second number will be my denominator, 3. And we were just told to write it in a fraction, not what type of fraction, so we'll just go ahead and leave it as 7 over 3 as a improper fraction. All right, let's see. So we're converting a fraction to a ratio. Okay, so we're going the opposite direction this time. So you're going to write the first value, the denominator, and the second value as the b. All right, so if you have a over b, you just write it as a to b, which is pretty much the exact opposite of what we just did in the other example. All right, and if we have any mixed numbers, so to convert a mixed number to a ratio, you're going to first write the mixed number as an improper fraction. All right, keep that in the back of your mind. So here we go. Convert this fraction into a ratio. Well, remember, the numerator is going to be the first value, so 7. And then that's 7 to our denominator, which will be 12. 7 to 12. Fraction to ratio. Go ahead and try b by yourself. Well, the first number is going to be from our numerator, and the second number will be from our denominator, 3 to 2. All right, lastly, a mixed number. Okay, so our plan, we're changing our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is going to be 12. So it's going to be 12 over 5. And then 12 will be our first number since it's our numerator. 12 to 5, which is our denominator. Next, convert a ratio to a decimal. First, write the ratio as a fraction. Then convert the fraction into a decimal. All right, we're pretty good so far with converting fractions and decimals. Doesn't sound too bad. All right, here we go. 1 to 10. So the first step in our plan is write it as a fraction. Well, we know how to do that. That's going to be 1 over 10. And then converting that fraction into a decimal. Well, we're dividing by 10. So when we divide by 10, we're going to end up moving the decimal to the left. Left 1 decimal. How do I know I'm using 1? Because there's only 1 0. If it was 100, there'd be 2 zeros. So we'd be moving over twice. Okay, so here we go. Let's get our 1. Where's the decimal for 1? It's right there. So we'll go ahead and move that once. Boop. Our decimal is moved. Ooh, I forgot. I need that 0 right there. Let me just rewrite our answer nicely. 0.1. All right, and the second one, 3 to 2. Okay, well, writing that as a fraction is 3 over 2. And then we're going to convert that into a decimal. Let's go ahead and do the long division way. 2 into 3. 2 can go into 3 once. Minus 2 is going to be 1. All right, let's add in that decimal point and that 0. Bring down the 0, we get 10. How many times can 2 go into 10? 5 times. So our decimal is 1.5. There we go. Converting a decimal to a ratio. Ooh, we're going the exact opposite. So much flipping and flopping in this one. All right, so converting from a decimal to a ratio. First, you write the decimal as a fraction. Then we reduce the fraction. And finally, restate the fraction as a ratio. All right, let's do that. So convert 0.6 to a ratio. Well, to do that, we need to write the decimal as a fraction. 0.6. Well, to do that into a fraction, remember, that is, backing up. This is 6/10, because the 6 is in the tenths place. Okay, so we have 6/10. And then, let's see, the next step is reduce the fraction. Okay, 6 and 10, are they divisible by a similar number? 2. They're both divisible by 2. Okay, dividing both by 2, I get 3 over 5. That's a fraction, so the last and final step is to rewrite that as a ratio, which is 3 to 5. Not too bad. All right, let's go ahead and convert this. So, starting out with our decimal, 0.05. And what is that? Well, the 5 is in the thousandths place. I'm sorry, take that back. The 5 is in the hundredths place, so there are 5 hundredths. And simplifying that, those are both divisible by 5. Okay, dividing both of them by 5, I get 1 over 20. And then I can convert the fraction into a ratio, which is 1/20. Okay, go ahead and try the last one by yourself. All right, what would this be as a ratio? So this is 2 and 5/10, because that 5 is in the tenths place. It's 2 and 5/10. But let's see. I don't know how to convert this fraction into a ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and make this into a mixed number. So it's 2 times 10, which is 20 plus 5, 25 over 10. Okay, so real quick, in case you missed that, I converted it into a mixed number. Now let's see, can I simplify? Well, they're both divisible by 5. That's going to be 5 over 2. There we go, our simplified fraction. So finally we can write a ratio, 5 to 2. And we are done. By the way, if my videos are ever too fast for you, go ahead and shoot me an email and ask me to slow down on my videos. And if the video is ever getting too fast, always feel free to pause and repeat. But let me know. because it's hard to get feedback from you guys because we're not actually in a face-to-face class. All right, chapter 3. Convert a ratio to a percent. Okay, here we go. So converting a ratio to a percent. First, convert the ratio to a decimal. All right. And then write the decimal as a percent by multiplying the decimal by 100 and adding the percent symbol. All right. So now it's just a combo of all the other things we've been learning. First thing, write the ratio, convert the ratio to a decimal. Well, to do that, let's first make it into a fraction, 1 over 50. Well, 1 over 50 as a decimal, what would that be as a decimal? Well, let's do the division. All right, 50 into 1. Well, 50 can't go into 1, so we have to add that decimal. Let's put 0. Well, 50 can't go into 10, so let's add another 0. Can 50 go into 100? Yeah, it can, twice. But we have to be careful here. We skipped this one place. But we know if 50 can go into 100, so we'll put the 2 where the 100 ends. Then that's going to be 50 times 2, which is 100. That is 0, no remainder. So 0.2, but let's add in that 0 there. 0.02. All right, so we converted the ratio to a decimal by turning it into a fraction and then doing long division. Last thing, multiply by 100 and add the percent symbol. So here we go. Multiply by 100. When we do that, our decimal gets moved twice. Okay, we practiced that. So now we have 2, and then let's add our percent to percent. Okay, definitely a few steps there, but we've gone through these steps, so just a bit of practicing on them. All right, B. So the first step, we're going to turn that into a fraction, 2 over 3. And then let's go ahead and turn that into a decimal. So here comes the long division. You can pause the video and work on the long division by yourself if you want. Well, 3 can't go into 2, so we're going to add the 0. Can 3 go into 20? Well, yeah, it can go into it. What is that? 7? Nope, 6 times. Two. And what do you know? It looks like it's going to be a repeating decimal. All right, so since it's going to be a repeating decimal, we know it's going to end up just doing a bunch of 6s, so we're going to write 0 point, and to indicate the repeating decimal of 6, notice if you pulled out a calculator and tried it, it would give you that bar over the top. That bar indicates that this number will repeat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just write 0.6 repeating. Okay, so this is actually kind of a weird example. Oh, here's a good question. If you were calculating something, how would you calculate that dosage? Well, let's just say we're going to round up for a dosage. So, if I have 0.6666, ooh, that's an interesting number, haha. How would we round this? Well, it would depend really on what your directions were. I'm going to say that, but let's just make up some directions for fun here. Round to the nearest tenth. All right, well, this is our 10. Rounding to the nearest tenth, we look at the number to the right. That number is bigger than 5, which means we're going to add up. So this is approximately 0.7. Okay, we rounded up to the nearest tenth. Now let's go ahead and turn that into a percent. So we're going to multiply by 100 and move the decimal over twice. 1, 2. And we get 70%. And C. All right, here we go. So 5 to 2, we'll turn that into a fraction. Now we want to make that into a decimal, so let's pull out another sticky note. Go ahead, pause the video if you want, and try to calculate that one out. 5 over 2, that's going to be 2. into 5? Can 2 go into 5? 2 can go into 5. Yep, twice actually. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. That's going to be subtracting 1. Okay, we still need to finish this though, so let's add in those zeros. Bring down the 0. Can 2 go into 10? Yes, it can, 5 times. And our answer is 2.5, because we have a remainder of 0. All right, but last but not least, we want to turn that into a percent, so let's multiply by the 100, which moves our decimal over twice. We'll fill in that empty space with a 0, and we get 250%, 250%. That'd be a nice grade on an exam, wouldn't it? All right. Convert the percent to a ratio. All right, so we're given a percent this time, and now we're going to go the exact opposite direction of the way we just came. All right, so write the percent as a fraction, and then reduce the fraction to lowest terms. And then we're going to write the fraction as a ratio. All right, we got this. So first things first, let's write this as a fraction. Well, 50%, we know how to turn that into a fraction. We just do 50 over 100. You just get rid of that percent symbol. All right, so now we're going to reduce this fraction. Well, I see those 2 zeros there, and as usual, I'll get rid of those as quickly as possible. 5 and 10, those are both divisible by 5. Okay, and when I do that, I get 1 over 2. And now I can write that as a ratio. So it's me 1 to 2. Go ahead and try B by yourself. All right, let's see. So writing that as a fraction, that's going to be 350 over 100. Just getting rid of that percent symbol. Okay, we can get rid of those 2 zeros there. That's dividing by 10. 35 over 10. Let's see. Those are both, well, once again, they're divisible by 5. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 10 divided by 5 is 2. All right, last but not least, write that as our ratio, 7 to 2. And 0.3%. All right, once again, we're going to write that over 100. Do not fear the decimal. Just follow the path that you know of. Okay, and our path is to get rid of the percent divided by 100. All right. But as we did this before, when you have a fraction, you're not allowed to have a decimal. You need to have a whole number. So how do I get rid of this decimal? Well, if I could only just move that decimal over to the right once, I'd be good. It wouldn't be a decimal anymore. Well, since I only want to move it once, let's just multiply the top by 10. Because we have 1 0, we'd move the decimal over once. But whatever I multiply to the top, I have to multiply to the bottom. Yes, I hope you said bottom. If not, say the bottom. Multiply what you multiply to the top, you multiply to the bottom. Okay, say it again. What you multiply to the top, you multiply to the bottom. Very good. Balance. All things in balance. So it's going to be 3 over 1,000. 3 cannot go into 1,000. We're done. Oh, sorry, we're not done yet. I have to write that as a ratio. That's going to be 3 to 1,000. Okay, page 6. We're on our way, folks. 3.3, proportions. A proportion is a mathematical statement that 2 ratios are equal. Because ratios are often written as fractions, okay, we've been doing that. We've been converting